Okay, I'm back for part 2. We're going to look at how to do Monopoly. So first thing you're going to do is download the Excel file. Akiko, go ahead. I can't hear you.
Yes, sorry.
I can't
You
hear you.
actually the you can you hear me?
I don't know why I can't hear you. Okay, hold on. Talk now.
So you replaced the Excel spreadsheet for like newer ones. So I think I used the old ones before you replaced. So is that okay to use it?
The only change I made was, I'll show you the change I made. So download this. Thanks, Kendra. Okay. Um, okay, so I just clicked download and I'm going to go to my download file, or you just hover over here. So enable editing. Okay, so you're saying I revised the spreadsheet, but you were using the old one?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the only revision I made, Akiko. Nothing required on this page, but only use these accounts also include.
Okay.
So that's it. That was the only change I made.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So let's start at the beginning. So here we go. You've downloaded an Excel file. Do not, you must do this in Excel. Do not do it on online Excel. If you don't have Excel on your computer, install it. Okay. And let's see, where can you do that? Let's go to Units and Modules, Chapter 1. Oh, Misha, I can almost hear you now.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I just had one quick question.
Sure, go ahead.
Um, when we do the rough draft, like the first version that we submit, will that one be graded on participation, or will it be graded on quality of the work, or will just the final draft be graded on like quality?
Great question. It's not participation, but it's like participation. If you only do one page, like if you only do your log sheet, you won't get full credit. You'll be docked a couple points. I want you to try and do the whole thing. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
So, but let's say you do the whole thing and it's wrong. Let me put this right here. There we go. If you do the whole thing and it's wrong and you make the corrections, I mean, you have the potential to get full credit. Okay. All right. Let's put this here. Free Microsoft Office. Do not use online Excel. Do not, you must upload an actual document. Okay. I won't be able to read it if you use Numbers or another software, spreadsheet software. Canvas is real picky about that. An actual Excel document. Okay, so, all right, so you can, as a student of this college, you get free Office, so use it. Okay, that's my speech. All right, so it's on here and it's on, let's go to Monopoly. Be stubborn today. All right. There we go. All right, so we've downloaded Monopoly and we've opened it. Okay, so now we're outside of Canvas. We're just working on Monopoly. And so let's go over the instructions very briefly. You're going to play Monopoly online. If you want to play it with an actual board game, that is totally fine. You just need to take some pictures. You will play 25 transactions and record only your transactions for yourself, not the other players. You must provide a screenshot of the beginning and ending of the game. And if you're playing with a board game, just take a couple pictures of the group playing and at the group at the end. Okay. All right. Complete the worksheets in Excel. All right. First worksheet is your screenshot. Chart of accounts, you don't need to do anything. You're going to do your log and your journal entries, your T accounts, all your statements, make that a classified balance sheet, and calculate key ratios. Okay. And then you're done. So here's the screenshot. When you go out to Monopoly, it might look different. Don't worry about it. Just get a screenshot. Now, the chart of accounts is your friend. And when you make journal entries, you need to know all the accounts and what are the rules of debit and credit. So in chapter 3, we learn all of this. So we have about 15 accounts, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 accounts. So when you use cash, you're going to be saying, did cash go up or down? And we're going to keep asking that question throughout this game for all the accounts. Did they go up or down? And the rules of debit and credit are that debit is on the left and credit is on the right. Let's do this. So if this account is cash and I want to increase cash by $1,500, I'm going to debit cash. And when I build my journal entry, which I do first, no, don't use the numbers, use the actual account title. When I build my journal entry, if I debit cash, it's going to look like this. Debit first, and note that debit is flush left, right to the left of this column. And then we're going to credit common stock, and common stock is indented. So be sure to do your indents as well. And we put that under the credit column. Let's go back to chart of accounts. So anytime we buy property, it'll be land or building. If we borrow money, it's accounts payable, common stock, retained earnings. And then these are our revenue accounts and these are our expense accounts. You've worked with a lot of accounts in chapters 1 and 2 as you've built statements, but now we're actually doing the heart of Accounting 201, which is learning how to do journal entries. At the top, it's just telling you the rule of debit or credit. So we have a term in chapter 3 called normal balance. And normal balance means for that account, how do you increase it? So for asset accounts, we increase it with a debit. For liability accounts, we increase it with a credit. So if we had an account for accounts payable, and I said, oh, we borrowed $300, that means we increased our debt. So we credit accounts payable. Okay. But we'll go through more on that. So only use these accounts. So if you have a transaction and you're like, Judith, I have no idea what account to use. This is the transaction. I'll give you some hints. So just send me an email. Okay. So we come to the log and journal sheet, and you're going to show cash, that first transaction, cash increased. Stockholders invested in the company. They gave the company $1,500. So now it's the company's money. So you are the company as you play. It's a company of Akiko or Misha or whoever the company is. Okay. So your company went up $1,500. Okay. From there, you'll build journal entries. Then you will post the journal entries to the T accounts, and you'll list the journal entry number there. So that journal entry is there. And for every journal entry, there's an equal number of dollars in the debits and an equal number of dollars in the credits. So, and then at the end, we add up what's in each account and put the total either on the debit side or credit side, whichever's bigger. And then we do something called a trial balance. We list, for example, and you use the same order as your chart of accounts here. And we list the ending balance here, whatever it is. Okay. Don't put it in a new order. Put it in the same order. Okay. All right. Once you have your trial balance, it should hopefully balance. Debits should equal credits. If it doesn't, go back and check your numbers. And then build your statements, which you guys already know how to do. Income statement, statement of retained earnings. Remember, this is beginning balance is going to be 0 here because you're just starting your company. And then your classified date of game, and you'll make your current assets, your PP&E, all of that. And then you'll calculate your ratios, and then you're done. Okay, so that's the overview. Let's go play the game. Okay, so any questions so far? So let's see.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the start on the retained earnings be 1,500 for Monopoly?
Retained earnings. So let's look at the chart of accounts, Hugo. Common stock has 1,500. So if you look at our log sheet, we put 1,500 into the company. And that first journal entry, cash goes up. So the roles of debit and credit, when we increase cash, that's a debit. But the credit is to common stock, not to retained earnings.
Got it. So for every debit,
Those
there's
are
a
two
credit as
separate
well?
accounts.
Is that correct?
Say it again.
For every debit, there's also a credit that cancels it out so that they equal each other?
For this game, yes. But as we move on in the class, sometimes we have one debit and two credits, or two debits and one credit. But the dollars of debits and the dollars of credits have to balance.
Always. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay. All right. So let's go play the game. So we're going to go to instructions. So we're going to go over to here. And the game used to look like this, and it's going to be very disappointing, but let's go to it anyway. Oops. And I think all of you have gotten out there, but I just want to get this on the video. Skip verification. Okay. So here's the game. Here's Monopoly. It's hard to see. You only want 2 players. You can't go lower because you have to play against someone. Okay. You're going to be player number 1. Let's make you red because it stands out. It's easier to see. And then player number 2, you could play with another person. You guys could log on simultaneous and get into this game, but we're going to make it the computer. It just makes it easier. Okay. So start the game. It is player 1's turn. I'm player number 1. So we're going to do that. And we're going to take this one entry at a time. So we're going to, my screen doesn't show everything. So here we go. So that's the Monopoly board. Here's Go. Here's all the properties. I wish they showed up, but ever since that flash is gone, we don't see it. But if you hover over it, you can see the pictures, but it has the names. So remember, the Monopoly is a real estate game. You buy property and you make money by rent income. So there's so many things wrong with this game. I don't know where to start, but anyway, we'll let it go. So you can see both players are on Go. So we'll roll the dice. Player 1, roll 3. I'm on Baltic Avenue. I have to decide if I want to buy it. Now it's only $60. We keep the numbers simple. So you want to log 25 transactions. So you want to get as many transactions as fast as possible. There's no strategy to this game besides just getting your 25 transactions. If you've ever played Monopoly, you play many, many more transactions. Okay, so we buy 60. So I bought it. Now you can see my balance. Oh, I forgot to take a print screen, but let's say I already did a print screen, but you can see my balance now for cash went down 60. So we'll just pause this and go over to our Monopoly. Can you guys see Monopoly now?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to go to the log sheet and let's go back up to the log sheet and I'm going to say minus 60. And I'm going to put a minus there to show I understand it's a decrease. And I'm going to be very specific. Bought, oh, what was the property we bought?
Baltic Avenue.
Baltic. Thank you, Hugo. Okay. All right. And if I want to be really classy, I'll make sure to capitalize things. Okay, let's do that. All right. So that's my first transaction. Okay. You want to get each transaction logged as you do them. There's a way to do a print screen of all your transactions, but this is easier. And the computer program doesn't care. So then let's go ahead and build a journal entry. Okay, so let's look at our chart of accounts. Cash went down. We know we increase cash with a debit, so therefore we decrease cash with a credit. Okay. What did we buy? We bought Baltic Avenue. So what did we buy on this list? What's the account that we bought? What's the category of account? We bought Baltic Avenue. What did we buy?
We bought
Building.
land.
We bought land. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to go, we've got it. So we're going to say, and land went up. Land is an asset. Assets go up with debits. So we'll say land, and then we'll just indent and we'll say cash. Okay. 60 and 60. Okay. So
Do
now
you
let's
need to say anything in the date?
Oh, the date's all going to be the same date, but yes, let's put the date here. 128. 128. All right, so now let's book this. Well, we want a journal entry, and we want a description. And if I want to make it italics, I'll just click on italics there, okay? And see how I've skipped a line between journal entries? It's just easier to read. So let's go over to the T account and we'll post journal entry number 2. Debit land, credit cash. So let's go here. Now all the assets are on this column. So we're going to come down here. We're going to put 260. So what I put on the T account are dollars, and on the side, it's the number of the journal entry.
And I have a question. Left side is debit, right side is credit.
Correct. You remember that because credit has an R in it.
There you
Okay, so I'm going to keep making journal entries. I have to go back to my Monopoly game. Let's go back to my log sheet. Now, it's very possible that you just want to get those 25 transactions and then do your journal entries and then do your T accounts. Do what works for you.
I've
So
got
let's,
one question. I'm sorry. I don't know if the game in 25 turns is going to get to the point of buying houses, but if it were, are the properties all counting as land and the houses would count as a building?
yes.
Okay.
All right. So I didn't get very far on my online games. I have to click on end turn, and then the computer plays, and I just say, okay. Okay, that's the computer. And now it won't let me play until I click on roll dice for my next turn. Okay, it'll tell me what the computer did, but for this, you don't really care. All right, so I'm going to do one more transaction. Player 1 landed on just visiting. So if you've played Monopoly, you know that there's jail in the corner here, but you don't go into jail by landing there. You go into jail by drawing a card that says go to jail. So I'm just visiting. I can't do any transactions, so I don't get a transaction. So that's a bummer. So I just keep playing. So I end my turn, and then it's going to show me what the computer did. Don't really care. They bought States Avenue. Now it's my turn again. Roll dice. I landed on the electric company. I am going to buy it. Okay. Now remember my balance was 1440. Buy electric company, and my balance goes down. So I bought electric company for 150, and let's put this on the log sheet. Minus 150 minus bought electric company. And Hugo, I hesitated in answering you because I was like, I know you have to buy electric company. Is it land or a building? So let's assume it's land. We'll just call it that until
All
you
the properties
actually
are
put,
land.
yeah.
Okay.
It'll make it easier. Okay. So you get the idea. So if I were to make a journal entry there, journal entry number 3 would be pretty much the same as this. Only it's bought electric company.
I've got a question.
Hold on. And then we have 150 and 150. So again, land goes up with a debit, cash goes down with a credit. So John, you had a question about the running balance. No, each line, you're just recording the transaction. We don't need the running balance. Does that answer your question? Are you still there? Maybe not. Can't hear you. Let's see.
John's not here.
Oh, he's not. You're right. Okay. I must have answered his question. So each line is just the individual transaction. At the bottom, you'll total them all. Okay. So here we have electric company. We're gonna, just for fun, we'll put it on the T accounts and it'll be a credit. And you can see most of these transactions are going to happen with with cash on one, either a debit to cash or a credit to cash.
Wasn't that your fourth turn?
Let's take a look.
You went to
No,
just
it
visit
was
him?
my third. It was my third transaction. I had 4 turns, but only 3 transactions.
Got it. Perfect.
Okay, let me take the questions sequentially. So, Kendra and Akiko, you asked about Monopoly. Does this help?
No, I have so I also write about the questions. What if the last balance on Monopoly and the trial balance are different?
So let's go here. So let's go to statements. Say it again on the which is which are
So like
different.
so both when I enter the journal entries and trial balance and that balance shows on Monopoly are different.
So
It will be
are you
happen.
talking about an individual account or
Yeah, in a total final balance.
so let's say I have cash here, right? And I have a balance of $2,000. Remember, we only put the balance on the trial balance on one side, right? Even though you have debits and credits on the T accounts, the total is the net total, debits
Yeah.
minus credit, and then whatever side is bigger.
Yeah.
So this doesn't agree with what?
So the balance on Monopoly games, actual games.
Mhm.
I don't know how they calculate the balance.
Oh. So you have cash here. The ending balance is 2,000, but over here it's a different number.
Yeah, sometimes something like ending balance in trial balance is $1,000, but the Monopoly says you have still $1,500, something like that.
If this game should be the correct number for you.
Oh.
So if you have a difference, it probably means you made a mistake. But it's possible. I don't grade you down for that. If everything balances, I'm more interested in your actual, you know how to do journal entries, you know how to do T accounts, you know how to do statements. That's the most important goal for this assignment.
Okay. Yeah. And also so many times I beat the land and I get cheaper than the actual price.
Oh, you're bidding on it? Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore it's impact for everything, or I don't know how to calculate it.
So
I
if you bid on something and the value is 150, but you only pay 125, example, you would record land 125 debit, cash 125 credit. That's it.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
We record, and that's a great question, Akiko, because we record it based on historic cost. And what did you pay? You pay 125. That's the value because that's what they accepted from you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet. All right. Any other questions? Let's see. Let me go through. Akiko, Kendra, are you good, Kendra? Are you here? Yeah, you're still here. On the transaction log, do I internet? No, we didn't do that. Yeah, Misha. What if the last, okay, I got that one. Could you please see how you would input this on the trial balance? Eric, can you elaborate?
Yeah, I'm just a little curious. So for like let's say the log and journal entry was I bought land for 100, cash for 100. How would I put that into the trial balance sheet?
Okay, you don't, so the middle step is your T accounts. The T accounts are super helpful because they track all the transactions for each account individually, the increases and the decreases. So when you're
Okay,
done
I
with
got my
your,
T account set up.
okay, you got your T accounts set up. Have you loaded your 25 transactions? Have you posted your journal entries into the T accounts?
Yes, yeah, that's all done.
All right, so
So,
that
so I'm to the statements.
your next step is to calculate an ending balance. So you're going to, for cash, you're going to add up all the debits. You're going to subtract all the credits. And for cash, it should be a debit balance. The debit should be bigger. Okay.
Yeah.
Because, and so whatever this number is, that'll come over to the statement and you'll put cash and whatever balance is on your T account.
Okay, so for my let's say my rent expense, it was total to 121. So for this trial balance, I would put rent expense credit 121
Correct.
or
Yeah.
debit 121.
So you're going to list your trial balance. You're going to list it in this order. Cash, accounts receivable, land and building. If an account has a zero balance, don't list it. Okay.
Okay.
Then you're going to list accounts payable, then common stock, retained earnings, then your three revenue accounts individually, and then your six expense accounts individually. If they have a zero balance, don't list it.
Got you.
You're
Okay,
going to
thank you.
list them all. Then you're going to come to your T accounts and say, what's my ending balance? So when you get down to your statements, you'll have had cash, you'll have had land, maybe building, maybe you'll have accounts payable. You will.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
You have accounts payable, and then you'll have your rent revenue and so forth. You'll just keep going and going like that. Okay. And then you get down to your rent expense and you'll post it under the debit because that's where your ending balance is. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
That sound good? Okay. Well, I got to wrap up. I've got a meeting at 2 o'clock. Do you guys have any more questions?
No, I'm all good. Thank you.
All right. Good to see you guys. And Exocell, do you have a quick question? I have to leave. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to stop my video.